Hello, I am currently in Kaiserslautern, if I'm saying that correctly, Germany. I am staying with some family friends, and I've been on this European backpacking trip for about almost 2 weeks, I'd say. 2 weeks now. I got here on the 4th, and it's like the 16th or 18th, whatever. So about 2 weeks, and it has been... I'd be lying to you if I said it was 100% amazing, but I will say that it has definitely probably been the single most constructive experience in my life by far. It has been stressful, it has been exciting, enjoyable, and I've met so many fascinating people and just people that I never would have met just staying in my hometown, and just really, really fascinating people, super nice people, and it really just not only meeting the people, but seeing the culture, seeing different, the structures, the buildings, the museums, and just seeing all this stuff while backpacking Europe has given me a lot of inspiration in a lot of ways. And I'm glad that I did it, and I think that's all I'm trying to say. Is like, I'm just so glad that I did it. Like, I was so scared. Everybody was telling me before I went on this trip to Backpack Europe, I'm going to be here for 2 months. And when I say 2 months, everybody's like, holy shit. Like everyone's like, they get very scared. But I will tell you something. If somehow this gets to the point where people, that might have an interest in this are listening, then it's not that bad. Like, people think that it's scary to go travel by yourself into another country, and I think it would really suck if I was maybe staying in a hotel or something by myself and traveling, but I'm not. I'm staying with other people for free. Like, the total amount of money that I've spent on accommodation has been $16. That's it. I've been living and sleeping for free for this whole trip, and I'll talk more about that. But eating and doing different activities that I want to do, I've spent money on it, and public transportation, stuff like that. So it's not completely free, but but as far as like the biggest expense for most people when they're traveling is a hotel or a hostel or whatever. But I'm not really doing that. I'm doing something a little bit different. It's kind of weird, and it's new, and it's cool. It's really cool. It's called couch surfing, and there's this thing called mat surfing, and I'll get into that later. But you're basically staying on strangers' couches, essentially. And it sounds scary. It sounds creepy. Like, who the fuck would let some stranger stay on the couch? And I've came to the conclusion that you have basically like two types of people that are willing to let other people stay on their couch or in their guest room for free. And that is, one, people that are really weird, and I have yet to really come in encounter with any of them. People that are really weird and are they have weird sexual tendencies, and they are just looking for like a weird way to express them, or they're just socially awkward and they just are weird. There's a lot of weirdos in the couch surfing community, a lot of naturists or whatever, a lot of gay people too. But there's the other one would be people that are incredibly cool, like the people that just genuinely want to meet people. My first night in Paris, I stayed with these 3 French dudes, and they were all super cool. They were all super nice, and they were really just looking to meet people from all over the world. They have done couch surfing themselves, and the one guy, my host, he took me around the city. He showed me the city. We had pretty good conversations. We had some good food. It was all really amazing, and I was just really grateful for them, and just them bringing me into their house, giving me those experiences. Like, I went skateboarding with the one dude, and it's just everything you do. Like, I was skateboarding, but I was skateboarding in Paris, so that makes it like 15 times cooler. Everything you do. I went swimming in the Paris canals. It's like, I'm just swimming, but I'm swimming in the fucking Paris canals. And it just really broadens your perspective. And I know that's such a cliche, travel broadens your perspective, and but it's true. It does. It makes you realize just how big the world is, and how different people are and how amazing people are and how bad some people can be. And it's just one of those things where it's like, it puts the value of experience number one for me. It makes having experiences, talking to people and conversing with people and doing things that are cool and interesting, that puts that at number one in my life. It puts it above money. It puts it above fame or any of that, because you can take money away from me. You can take attention or fame, or you can take food or resources, or you can take any of that stuff away from me. Any material thing, a car, you can take away from me, but you can never take away these experiences that I'm having from me. Never can. And I will always, no matter how rich or poor my bank account is, I will always be able to look back on these experiences with I would just relish just looking back with a fond, memory of just thinking about all these things that have happened and all these stories that I've made and are going to continue to make. I mean, it's only been 2 weeks. That's fucking incredible to me. It's only been 2 weeks and there's just so much stuff that's happened. So I need to I think the biggest thing to do when doing something like this is I need to just write everything, because there's so much going on. I have to make so many connections, and I have material to write about for fucking ever. And podcasting helps too. Like not only writing about stuff, but talking about stuff is a really good way to kind of get all that out, because you're having the recent experiences to me, I think, are so valuable and important. And I'm somebody who, like, if you look at the big 5 personality scale that psychology is, I'm probably very high in openness. I really like trying new things. I really like doing new things. And I think that the biggest thing with experience is it's because it's openness to experience. That's the full psychological definition of it. I think the biggest thing with experience is that when you have new experiences, it opens the door for creativity. It opens the door for you to make new connections. And I think that's what creativity is. It's just making new connections that other people haven't made. It's going from point A to point B to point C, and then, you get good enough at articulating the variations between points until you get to the point where you're fucking Jimi Hendrix. I mean, like, that dude articulated between points in a manner that was just unbelievably incredible. I'm a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, if you haven't realized. But yeah, so these experiences are something that I'll never lose, and travel is something that I definitely want to be a big part of my life. And I didn't understand it. Like, I didn't understand, why would anybody let other people stay in their house for free? I was like, okay, it's a little weird. Maybe they were in a jam one time and so they're just giving back and whatever, but I'm just looking for a free place to stay. I don't really care about any of that. But no, I completely understand. You have conversations with people and you form these bonds with people and these connections with people, and then you have to say goodbye. And the saying goodbye thing, it sucks. Like, it sucks, but it's what makes it so cool. It's what makes it so fascinating, is that you form these bonds with people, these connections with people, and it's temporary. It's just, you realize everything is temporary. Even the people that you spend your life with on a day-to-day basis, that's temporary too. Eventually you're going to say goodbye to them. And one of those things, broadens your perspective. It puts the temporary nature on life at the forefront of your consciousness, and that affects the way you do everything. Everything you do, when you have those values at the forefront of your, consciousness, the value of forming bonds with people, of connecting with people, of conversing with people, and understanding at the same time that all this is temporary. All that you're trying to achieve, all that you're trying to do, it's all temporary. Because you see these giant buildings, and whoever built them, they're not here anymore. They themselves were temporary, but they were able to build something that lasted far outside of them. And eventually everything will maybe fade off into nothingness, if you want to look at it that way. But I think that there's something very admirable and something very correct about trying to pursue something in life that will live on far past you. And I think that that's something that blogging and podcasting and YouTubing will do, something that working in a restaurant was not doing for me. And having these experiences are going to afford me the capability to really try to bring something back. I think that's the biggest thing I'm trying to do. So I know that there's people out there who aren't doing this stuff. And I think it's really, really cool what I'm doing, honestly. I'm having a good time. I'm having a stressful time too. It's not all perfect, not by any means. But everything that happens, everything that causes me stress or anxiety or fucks me up, like I had plenty of times where rides broke down between places and I felt stuck or lost or whatever, and I just didn't know how I was going to get through it. But I understood that, one, I'm the one who got myself in that circumstance. I'm the one who put myself in that situation, and I got to be better next time. And that is a value, that is a lesson that I will take with me everywhere I go, no matter what, whether or not I'm traveling, whether or not I'm with family, dealing with, anything I'm doing, that those lessons and values will always stick with me. And I'm just very appreciative of that. But yeah, so all right, I'm gonna edit that part out. Anyways, and so after this, I'm basically going to be working my way down to southern Germany, and there's a lot of places I want to hit, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit them all, but I have my whole life ahead of me, and there's plenty of places in the world I'll be able to see and that I want to see, but we'll see. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm doing a little bit of couch surfing, where I'm just kind of staying with random people, getting to know them, meeting them. And then right now I'm currently staying with like old family friends, and all that's free. And then, but the biggest thing I'm doing, and the biggest thing I have coming up, is that I'm going to be staying with a lot of people that do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and kind of couch surfing with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people. And it's a way to travel the world and train Jiu-Jitsu for absolutely free. And that is something that is just, it's amazing. Obviously you have to pay for the plane ticket, pay for your own food, pay for your own transportation, shit like that, obviously. But I get to stay with people who do Jiu-Jitsu. So while I'm in this other country, yes, it's kind of, if you're not around people within these given communities, it can be hard to relate to some people. But when you are with another person who does jiu-jitsu, it's like, yeah, there's so many different cultural differences between you, but you both have this thing. You both have jiu-jitsu. And that's incredible. You connect with people on a different level with sports and things like that. So there's a lot. I think there's a few people in Austria that I'm going to be training with, a few people more in Germany, and then I'll try to get more once I get to Poland and whatnot. So we'll see. There's nothing definite yet. My schedule is pretty much like, I have a pretty open schedule. Like, I kind of came to this trip with absolutely really very little plans. I had an idea, and I'm starting to kind of make that idea real. I have so far to some extent. But really the first 2 weeks I had planned out so now, and the rest of it is now up to me. And I am starting to kind of get things going a little bit with my planning, and that's good. I'm glad and exciting. So it's because it's such a chaotic thing when you're traveling overseas, especially by yourself. You kind of feel like a rolling stone a bit, and you just really have to, if you don't sit down and just do the work and plan stuff out, then it feels like that scene in Star Wars where the walls are just caving in, just squeezing you. The pressure just really mounts up. So it forces me to plan, prioritize, and execute, which is a military lesson probably, and I'm learning through travel. And I think it's a good skill to have, to be able to, I never knew how to navigate public transportation before this trip. In Europe, I'll talk more about the cultural differences between the US and Europe in a different episode, but I never had to navigate public transportation before this trip. And because in Europe, they all use public transportation. There's so many things that I'm proud to have learned, or that I'm happy that I am learning, and I think that it's a very good skill to have in the future, to be able to just drop you in the middle of nowhere and get through it and find your way back home or whatever. I think that's a very good skill to have. Obviously, it's the modern world, so it's very easy. It's very easy to get from Paris to Cologne to Berlin. It's very easy. There's incredible tools out there, such as BlaBlaCar, which isn't available in the United States. There's some like Flixbus and a bunch of different things, and you just got to find a way to get there. But yeah, so this is the first episode I'm going to be doing on this trip. I will most likely be trying to record some podcasts with other jiu-jitsu people or hosts, whatever, and put it out there. And yeah, I didn't get one with my first couple hosts, but there's a long road ahead of me and plenty of room for conversation. So yeah, anyways, peace out.